I'm standing by the edge of Clearwater Lake at 5:30 a.m., the mist curling off the water like a dream, my old cedar fishing rod in hand. Casting a line for the first time since I moved to Pineview Estates. The quiet's perfect, just me and the memory of my wife, Ellen, who always wanted us to retire by a lake like this. But then I hear the sharp clack of heels and a voice screeching, "You're breaking the law, old man." It's Pamela Hayes, HOA president, filming me like I'm a criminal, calling the cops for fishing on what she thinks is her lake. What Pamela didn't know was that I, Frank Carter, a 70-year-old retired CIA analyst, own that lake, and the sheriff she's screaming for. That's my daughter, Sarah, and this morning was about to flip Pamela's world upside down. This all started 3 days ago in Pineview Estates, a fancy Florida neighborhood where every house looks like it's auditioning for a magazine cover. I just moved here, still tripping over boxes in my new place, trying to make good on a promise to Ellen, who passed 6 years back. She'd always said, "Frank, find us a lake where you can fish at dawn and I can watch the herons with the grandkids." Her voice still echoes in my head, especially when I'm by the water. So when I saw Clearwater Lake out my window, sparkling like a promise, I grabbed my rod, my dad's old cedar one. The only thing that survived all my years dodging crises in Berlin and Kabul, and headed out. That morning, the air was cool, the grass wet with dew, and I found a little bench by the shore. Probably set there by someone else chasing peace. I cast my line, let the ripples spread, and for a half hour, it was just me, the lake, and Ellen's memory, holding me steady. Then, at 6:15, Pamela Hayes stormed in like a hurricane in a pantsuit, her phone up, live streaming to her HOA followers. "Good morning, Pineview," she chirped, her voice dripping with fake cheer. "We've got a trespasser stealing from our lake, ecological theft, right here." She was all dolled up, hair sprayed stiff, heels sinking into the grass, sunglasses perched like a crown even though the sun was barely up. I sized her up, old habits from my CIA days kicking in, nervous tick in her left hand, eyes darting for an audience. A bully playing queen. "Can I help you?" I asked, calm as I'd been talking down arms dealers in Istanbul. She swung her phone to frame me. "What are you doing?" she snapped. "Fishing," I said. Simple as that. "And you are?" Her face went red under all that makeup. "Pamela Hayes, HOA president, and you're on my lake. Breaking bylaw 9.4.2. No fishing, ever. This is vandalism." I caught a tug on my line, started reeling in a small perch, and her voice hit a new pitch. "He's stealing wildlife," she shrieked, dialing 911. "Sheriff, it's Pamela Hayes, Pineview Estates. I've got a trespasser fishing illegally, threatening me with a rod. Send someone now." I released the perch, packed my gear, and watched her primp for her live stream, all smug, saying, "Justice is coming, folks." Neighbors peeked from windows, drawn by her circus, but my gut, honed by decades of spotting lies, told me this wasn't just about fish. Pamela was hiding something, and I was about to find out what. 3 minutes later, sirens wailed, and a sheriff's cruiser pulled up. Pamela practically glowed, but when the door opened, I saw a familiar stride. Sarah, my daughter, sheriff of Collier County, stepping out in her crisp uniform. "Dad," she called, her voice a mix of shock and worry. "What's going on?" Pamela's phone hit the ground. Cracked screen still recording, her jaw flapping like the perch I'd let go. The crowd grew, neighbors stepping onto porches, phones out, and I knew this was about to get real. "Sarah," I said, managing a grin. "Just fishing, like I told Ms. Hayes." Pamela scrambled, snatching her phone. "Sheriff Carter, this man's breaking HOA rules. Arrest him." Sarah's eyes narrowed, all business. "MS. Hayes, show me the bylaw and proof the HOA owns this lake." Pamela froze, stammering, "It's at the office. Everyone knows we control it." Sarah crossed her arms. "I don't deal in everyone knows. Get me the documents." That's when Ed Larson, a 72-year-old retired property lawyer who lived across the street, strolled up with his beagle. "Max, morning, Frank," he said, smirking. "Pamela causing a ruckus again?" She glared, but Ed just chuckled. "Pamela, I've been here 20 years, and I've always wondered who owns this lake. Funny thing about property law, assumptions don't cut it." He turned to me. "Frank, you know Clearwater Lake's private, right? Your Ellen bought it in '85, kept it out of the HOA's hands." My tackle box slipped from my grip, hitting the grass. "Ellen?" Ed nodded. "She saw the development coming, bought the lake to protect it. When she passed, it went to you. Though the paperwork's probably stuck in some lawyer's mess. Pamela's phone shook. That's a lie, she spat. I've run this place for 12 years. Ed shrugged. Show the deed, then. I checked the county records. Evergreen Holdings, Ellen's company, owns it. Sarah stepped in. Ms. Hayes, you've got 24 hours to produce proof, or we're investigating fraud. Pamela's face twisted, and she bolted to her car, yelling, This isn't over, Frank. Check the lake tomorrow. You'll see who's in charge. She peeled out, leaving a crowd buzzing and my head spinning. Ellen owned the lake? That night, I sat with Ed in his study, poring over old surveys. Ellen was a genius, he said, tracing the lake's boundaries. She bought this for pennies when it was just marsh, developed Pineview, but kept the lake private. Pamela's been charging $60 a month per household for lake upkeep for 100 homes. That's $24,000 a month for 12 years. Do the math. My analyst brain clicked. $3.5 million. Stolen from neighbors for a lake she didn't own. This isn't just greed, I said. It's a racket. At 3 a.m., my phone rang. Pamela, her voice like ice. Enjoy your fishing, Frank? Tomorrow. The lake's getting a cleanup. You'll wish you'd stayed in D.C. I didn't sleep, my old instinct screaming. By dawn, I was at the lake, and there she was, out on bail somehow, with dump trucks pouring green sludge into the water. The smell hit like a chemical plant, dead fish bobbing up, their silver bellies accusing. Emergency algae treatment. Pamela bellowed through a megaphone, waving a permit that looked fresh off a printer. I ran forward, rod in hand, shouting, Stop, but she just laughed. All legal, old man. My heart broke. Ellen's dream. Poisoned. News vans rolled in, tipped off by a neighbor, and I faced the cameras, voice steady despite the rage. This is sabotage, I said, as Pamela ranted about her rights. An EPA inspector arrived, tested the water, and shut it down. This is industrial waste, he said, glaring at Pamela's fake permit. Federal crime, environmental terrorism. Pamela snapped, grabbing a rock and hurling it at me. It grazed my temple, blood trickling down as Sarah caught me. You ruined my empire, she screamed, as deputies cuffed her for assault. The developers promised me $8 million. Cameras rolled, capturing her confession. A man in a slick suit, Victor Lang, a developer, approached, flanked by guards. Sell the lake, Frank, he said, voice smooth as poison. Old men like you have accidents, fires, falls. Think about it. Sarah stepped up. That's a threat, Mr. Lang. He smirked. Just real estate. Sheriff. Houses burn. People slip. I met his eyes, cold as I'd been in '89 facing Soviet agents. Try me, Victor. I've buried bigger sharks than you. That night, I turned my house into a bunker. Cameras, motion sensors, tricks from my CIA days. At 1 a.m., 3 goons with gas cans tripped my traps. Sprinklers doused them in red dye. The kind that sticks for weeks. FBI cameras, boys, my signs warned, and they froze, spooked. I called Sarah, who'd looped in the feds. SWAT swarmed them, the dye making them look like cartoon villains. One cracked, sobbing. Lang paid us $40,000 to torch 10 homes, starting with Carter's. Raids hit Lang's mansion by 3 a.m. Feds hauling him out as he screamed about his judges. The news exploded. Florida HOA scandal. $40 million corruption ring busted. Lang's phone had it all. Texts to Pamela, bribes to councilmen. Plans to bulldoze Pineview for condos. Pamela's text stood out. Carter owns the lake. Get him out, or we're done. The trial was a spectacle. 400 people packed into a courtroom built for 150. Cameras outside like it was the Super Bowl. Pamela, in orange, no makeup, gray roots showing, glared at me, mouthing, "You're finished." Judge Ellen Ruiz, a friend of Ellen's, laid out 124 charges. Fraud, embezzlement, environmental terrorism, assault. Pamela pleaded not guilty, firing her public defender to represent herself, ranting, "I'm the law here." The prosecutor, a grizzled vet, showed 9,000 documents and 40 hours of recordings from Dorothy Miller, Pamela's old college pal who'd turned on her. One tape had Pamela laughing, "These fools pay my yacht. My parish trips, every fine's my bonus. They're sheep, I'm the wolf." The jury gasped, one woman tearing up. Dorothy testified, voice breaking, "She was my best friend, but she became a monster. Evicting the Wilsons for a $250 fine, they died broken. The Wilsons' deaths, stress-induced, hung heavy, not murder, but close. My turn came, Sarah pushing my wheelchair for effect. Though I could walk, I just wanted to fish where Ellen dreamed we'd retire, I said, bandage on my head. Pamela turned a paradise into a prison. She screamed, "You stole my lake." I looked her dead in the eye, calm as ever. It was Ellen's, for everyone, not your piggy bank. Then came the knockout. Pamela's daughter, Lisa Hayes, took the stand. Mom kicked me out at 15 for calling her out, she said, tears falling. She chose power over family, hurt hundreds. She's not sick, she's evil. Pamela held, traitor. Lunging before bailiffs tackled her. Her defense? A slideshow of Pineview's lawns, claiming, "I'm a god, creating order." The jury smirked, deliberating 42 minutes. Guilty, all counts. Judge Ruiz gave her 30 years, no parole, for $1 million in restitution, and a lifetime HOA ban. Her worst nightmare. Pamela's final scream, "I'll burn your lake, Frank," faded as they dragged her out. 6 months later, Clearwater Lake gleamed, fish darting, herons gliding, thanks to a $600,000 cleanup funded by neighbors and green groups. I sat on that bench, cedar rod in hand. Surrounded by 60 folks from our Dawn Anglers Club, Dorothy now a pro with her own rod. Ellen would have loved this, she said, smiling. The HOA was gone, replaced by a transparent council Ed ran. Every dime accounted for. Potlucks by the lake drew hundreds. Kids feeding herons where Pamela once banned them. Old couples strolling without permits. The Ellen Carter Preserve. Funded by $2 million I found in Ellen's investments, planted 500 magnolias, her favorite, with a plaque. Love heals, truth prevails. Sarah's speech at the opening, about her mom's dream of trust over control, left us all misty-eyed. Pamela, in prison, scrubbed floors, her cellmate a woman she'd evicted for a $15 fee, taunting, "Mr. Mercedes?" She tried starting a prison HOA, but inmates laughed her off. Lisa joined our fishing club, catching her first trout and sobbing, "This is what family feels like." She's studying ecology now, healing what her mom broke. Pineview's property values soared 35%, crime vanished. Turns out, neighbors who talk don't need tyrants. The Carter Act, Florida's new HOA law, banned profiteering. Inspired by our fight, Lang got 18 years, his empire exposing 24 cronies. $180 million returned to victims across 4 states. At the 1-year mark, 600 of us gathered at the lake, fishing, laughing. Free. I spoke, voice steady. I came to fish in peace, but found a community chained by greed. Ellen believed kindness wins, but it needs courage. We said no to Pamela, yes to each other. The crowd cheered, kids splashing, magnolias blooming. But as the sun set, I wondered, who's next? Pamela's got 29 years to stew, and power vacuums breed new bullies. Sarah's watching. But will it be enough? So, tell me in the comments, fought an HOA tyrant? What's your lake to save? Like if this got you fired up, subscribe for more. Out here, we learned one thing: truth's the best bait, and justice bites hard.